Greg, welcome back to the program.
Yes.
Tell us about this. What provoked you to produce this video?
People are dying. I saw people being picked out of the water in Texas. Now, I used to work, believe me, in my many lives, I worked on emergency evacuation and for the county of Suffolk in New York. And in 2005 and 6, I did a deep investigation into the drownings in New Orleans. And I got to tell you, from my expose, which I originally did for the program Democracy Now!, you can see it again on YouTube. It's called All Washed Away. And we've now brought it up to date. It's now an hour film, including Texas and what's happened. And basically, the reason New Orleans drowned is that they privatized emergency evacuation planning from FEMA. They canceled the FEMA plans. That was under Bush. And now we have Donald Trump saying he's going to eliminate FEMA by December. Now, understand, in a hurricane, in a flood, these are our lifeguards. So when Kerrville, Texas was drowning, DOGE, under that great lifeguard Elon Musk, and under Trump.
And big balls.
Yes, and big balls. They eliminated a third of the staff of FEMA, including, and plus people in the National Weather Service. They eliminated the National Weather Service coordinator, emergency, the guy that's in charge of when a flood hits, like in Kerrville. They're the ones that are to warn the local government and have a plan. They didn't have a plan because they got rid of the emergency coordination managers at the Weather Service and at FEMA, including in their San Antonio offices. They basically watch people drown. And this is what happened in New Orleans when they privatized emergency evacuation. Just to know, people don't know the real story in New Orleans, which you'll see in my film, All Washed Away. Well, what happened was that the Louisiana State University had an evacuation plan for New Orleans. The whole thing planned, a multi-million-dollar plan that Louisiana State paid for. The Bush administration vetoed it and instead gave it to their cronies at a group called Innovative Emergency Management, who claimed that they had the Bill Clinton's big expert on emergency evacuation, a guy named James Lee Witt. I spoke to James Lee Witt. He said he never heard of these guys. They got the contract and they had zero plan for evacuating people who didn't have cars. That's 127,000 people in New Orleans. LSU had the whole thing planned out. And Professor Ivor Van Heerden, head of the Louisiana Hurricane Center, said, what was the effect of ignoring your plans and your warnings? And he said 1,500 people died. Just so you know, just before, I'm talking weeks before, the New Orleans levees collapsed, he contacted the White House as the head of the emergency of the Hurricane Center in Louisiana and said these levees will not hold in a storm. Forget a hurricane. It will not hold in a storm. And the White House ignored him.
Wow.
Ignored him. And instead, because they wanted to privatize the operation. And believe me, the GOP was not unhappy. They washed away the black community of New Orleans, which never came back. Louisiana turned from blue to red. So they're not unhappy about people being washed away.
I get it. And it seems to be driven by just good old-fashioned corruption. I mean, this is what happens when oligarchs take over a country, is they start converting, public good into private profit.
Well,
is that the same thing that's happening down in Texas? Is that why those children died in Texas?
Yeah, they decided to privatize FEMA. They cut FEMA, a third of FEMA. They cut the experts. Literally, they removed the position with the National Weather Service of emergency coordinator, who was supposed to warn the people. They also, the San Antonio office, which covers southern Texas, also lost its experts. No one was there to get those people out. And now we've got a bigger problem. And by the way, when you talk about privatization of hurricanes, this is what Professor Joe Stiglitz, when I interviewed him for BBC, said. It's not privatization, it's briberization. And that's what we saw in New Orleans with George Bush's and the GOP cronies who were handed emergency evacuation. And they couldn't even find the plan. I called FEMA and said, can I see the plan? They said, oh, it's national security because under Homeland Security. I said, how do you evacuate people if your evacuation plan is a secret? And this is what's happening now. That's why those kids drowned in Texas. They did not have a plan that included campsites. This is the problem of cutting the guts out of your lifeguards, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which under Clinton was an amazing agency, fixed it after the Bush disaster. And I have to say Biden and Obama fixed it again, and now they've destroyed the place. They put Donald Trump put in a guy named Richardson as head of FEMA. He did not even know that America had a hurricane season.
I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, this is not this. Yeah, I mean, it's you could laugh.
Yeah.
But you know what? The result is that people drown. And
That's
in
right.
the film, I'm very concerned. I spoke to the head of the supervisor of a small town west of Chicago. You have no idea. Small town mayors are literally in tears that they don't know what to do if there's an emergency evacuation because they can't call the feds anymore.
Right. So what is the status of Trump and big balls and DOGE's efforts and the GOP's efforts, frankly, to defund and deconstruct and do away with FEMA, and why? I'm assuming it's so that private contractors can come in and make more money. Is that the deal? I mean, more than 50% of the defense budget, for example, is now going to private companies.
You got it, Tom. They're turning hurricanes, floods, wildfires into a profit center. They're selling them off. And this is a big problem because I was speaking to Kevin Patrick, who has a fancy title of president of the Board of Supervisors, Villa Park, Illinois. He's panicked. He's a small town. He doesn't have an evacuation plan. I worked with the Suffolk County, which is the Hamptons, the richest county in America. We spent $20 million on an evacuation plan. He doesn't have $20 million for a town of 22,000. And he was a first responder at Katrina. You'll meet him in the film. He was pulling bodies of pregnant women out of the water. He says in one case he took a body and the arm came off like a chicken wing. Yeah. And he says, I don't want to see that in my town. And if there's a disaster, who do I call? I mean, Donald Trump made a big damn deal during the election campaign about East Palestine in Ohio, the train derailment, and that Biden caused it and didn't do anything about it. Well, this is a town that has 2 rail lines running through. If they have a toxic spill in that town, who do they call? The guy is really shaken after he pulled an arm off like a chicken wing. He says, I've seen it. I'm still have nightmares. So what's about this?
Greg, we have about a minute and a half here before we hit a hard break here. Where is the pushback coming from? How are the Democrats on this? Is Trump really planning on shutting down FEMA altogether by the end of the year? Can he do this?
Can he do this?
Well,
I don't know. There's troops
look
in the
at
streets of
USAID,
Washington.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can he do this? I don't know. We have a federal agency that's supposed to be the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and there's going to be no agency to manage the emergencies. You are on your own. I suggest you learn how to swim. This is unbelievably destructive to small town America in particular. People aren't thinking about this. We think, oh, yeah, okay, Trump's ending all these welfare programs for big cities, which is a code word for black people. Well, I got to tell you, they're literally going to be drowning small towns who have no plans, no one to call when those levees break, when those wildfires break out. This is the plan for the privatization. Well, I got to tell you, and one of the things that happened is Professor Von Heerden, who gave the warning to the White House that the levees were going to break just before they did, he was fired, and the hurricane
by the Bush people
offices of the Louisiana State University were shut down. This is Hurricane Highway. So what they do is they're going after the people who complain, who raise the alarm, who say we're going to drown. And it's
also
real serious.
Also that they can hand off federal dollars to the people who donate to their campaigns. I mean, basically, that's what it comes down to.
It's privatization is briberization. It is enriching and by the way, this group that drowned New Orleans, you'll see in the film, I literally go into their offices and confront them. They start hiding in their offices from me. And
so once again, to find the movie on YouTube, people should look for what?
All Washed Away. So go to my Substack, gregpalace.com Substack. Go to gregpalace.com. or go to YouTube and catch it directly, all washed away.